to the Everything Went Black podcast. It's been a minute since we put one of these out, so I figured I'd do one of my solo podcasts just to kind of keep the momentum going. We'll be back on the trail next week. Got a couple episodes scheduled, but in the meanwhile, I figured I'd just check in with you guys, see how everyone's doing, and let you guys know how my summer was. But before we get going, we got to hit our affiliate sponsors. That would be On It. Once again, 100% back this label. One of the best supplement providers I've ever taken. Right now I'm using the fish oil, the Strawn Bone, which, for someone who abuses their body the way I do, sort of building up that collagen is always a good idea. And there's more than enough proof showing that this stuff actually works. The MCT oil, I'm actually kind of double fisting it right now. I got the emulsified MCT oil, which I just drop into a hot or cold cup of coffee, and that, really helps pick you up. And the straight up MCT oil, which I use in my morning rituals of the bulletproof style coffee, using grass-fed butter, MCT oil, and Savage Gold coffee, of course. So yeah, I highly recommend that stuff. Also, Datsusara, once again, something I use. I try not to back things that I personally do not use, because that wouldn't be an honest thing to do. Datsusara, though, is like something that's in my life every day. My gear bag, I fit all my training equipment in there. You can fit quite a bit of stuff in the battle pack, which is the one I have. You can fit a set of boxing gloves, headgear, shin guards, a gi, a pair of shorts. There's a pocket for a mouthpiece. There's two pockets for water bottles. You can't really go wrong. Also, it does double duty. Whenever I go out on the road or travel somewhere, I take it with me, and that's my, my luggage. It's been all over Europe, the United States. Never leave home without it. The Datsusara Battle Pack. There's also a bunch of other cool stuff on the site you can get. Last but not least, Savage Gold Coffee. As you know by now, that's my coffee brand. I got a bunch of new stuff coming out this fall. Right now, if you're a member of the mailing list, you will have received a discount code for the fall sale, which I run every year. And so yeah, if you haven't done so already, go over to savagegoldcoffee.com, sign up for the mailing list. You get all kinds of news. I don't bomb your inbox with junk mail, but whenever there's a new product or some promotion, you can get, discount codes, save a little money here and there. We all know how it is. So there's a new blend being added to the catalog. It's called Savage Gold Dark Crown. And this is the first blend. All the other coffee roasts are single bean. And this one is actually a blend of several different dark roasted beans. So that's going to be launched probably in a week or so. And the initial 50 pounds is going to be packaged as a package deal with this radical t-shirt that Val Noir did. Val Noir has done album cover artwork for Tombs, Black Anvil, Bluehouse Nord, Merrimack, a bunch of really cool bands. You can go to holymountainprinting.com. They're handling the whole initial order. And while you're at holymountainprinting.com, you can check out a bunch of different t-shirt designs by some of the bands that you guys probably listen to. They do Leviathan, Wolves in the Throne Room, Magua, of course, Tombs. So yeah, it's like a pretty rad t-shirt spot. They sell records, t-shirts, like all that kind of stuff. And this might sound odd, but it actually, if you go down another layer, it actually makes sense. There's going to be a Savage Gold coffee soap. I'll let that set for a minute. As you guys all know, I spent a lot of time on the mat, and being clean is a pretty high priority for me, keeping those nasty microbes away, preventing staph infections, like that sort of stuff. So cleanliness is a big priority for me. So I was approached by Joseph Forsman, and he runs a custom soap company. and we're doing just this like small run of soap, and that's going to be available on the site savagegoldcoffee.com, and they were going to do some fun videos and promotions and stuff, and it's kind of interesting being a huge fan of the Fight Club movie book. Soap plays a big part of that storyline, so um, you know, it's kind of funny for me at least. Actually, I just used Savage Gold soap in the shower right now. I got back from training and took a nice shower, and yeah, I got really clean. Real quick about training, I've been training at the Physical Culture Collective, which is relatively new spot for me to do my thing, and it's out in Bushwick, and Gavin Van Vlack is the crew, the guy who runs the spot, and I can't speak enough. Can't give it a higher recommendation than I do if you're interested in training Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, or if you just want to go and get in shape, get strong. It's not just get in shape type of place either. It's like if you want to go and like seriously build your body up, that's the place to go. And I've known Gavin for several years. He's been a guest on this podcast a couple times, and he's been a huge impact on my life, actually. I mean, I've been a fan of Burn and Absolution, and just musically, I've been a fan of his. And over the years, we've got to become friends, and now I'm training with him regularly, and it's great. You can find me there pretty much every day, and it's awesome. It's he's not giving me money to do this. I'm just as a good deed, just letting you guys know that in Bushwick, there's a killer place to work out. If you want to learn jiu-jitsu, learn Muay Thai, and just get strong, definitely check it out. And you can check out their website, physicalculturecollective.com. Along with Gavin, there's some great coaches. We got Naomi Cookson and Zach Dom, and they've got years of competition between them. I mean, they're competitors as well as coaches. So anything you ever want to know about fighting, you can go and learn from those guys. And yeah, definitely a great place. So it's been a good summer for me. Very interesting summer. I quit my job back in July, and things have kind of been on this reinvention, which is a very key component to my existence. Always trying to do better, always trying to improve myself, and always trying to do the best possible job that I can at whatever I'm doing. So I left my job, been working with this company on and off for about 10 years. I know it's kind of a trip thinking about that. It's like ripping the soul out of me, though. So I also was phoning it in. I would show up and just kind of hang out, do my thing, do the minimum amount that was required. If there was something to be done, I would do it, absolutely. But I wasn't approaching it with the required gusto that I like to approach other things in my life. So it was starting to eat away at my soul, erode my psyche, and I was starting to get depressed. I would wake up in the middle of the night thinking about how the clock is slowly ticking down the moments of my life, and thinking about what am I actually doing. There's the illusion of being busy every day, the illusion of getting up and going to work, showing up, doing whatever work they put in front of you, going home, and then doing the other meaningful things in your life. And I was doing the band, very busy with that. Training, very busy with that. Working on the coffee company, very busy with that. But I was existing. I don't feel like I was actually living. And I've tried to do this a bunch of times. There have been several occasions where I've quit, but I always seem to come back. I've always seemed to take the easy way out, the easy money. And this time around, I'm just not doing it. Believe me, knowing that you're getting a check every 2 weeks or whatever is sweet. it's a sweet temptation to go down that path and accept that money, but someone owns you at that point. And right now, nobody owns me. I'm working for myself. I've done, you know, something that I've wanted to do my whole life is try to be my own boss. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. And believe me, it's, I'm sleeping better, that's for sure, because I'm actually not working towards the goal of leaving the job. Now I've left the job and I'm having to think on my feet. I'm having to be on the balls of my feet, bobbing and weaving, making things happen every day. And I'm learning that is a far more comfortable position that I like to be in. Just rather than getting up at whatever time, drinking my coffee, procrastinating. It would be 15 minutes, then 20 minutes, then a half an hour of sitting in the living room, drinking coffee. Oh, maybe I'll have another cup. Listening to podcasts, checking my phone, doing everything that I could possibly do to postpone leaving the apartment, walking out the front door, getting on the subway, making my trek down into the city, and then going to the office and sitting there for the next 8 hours. Or actually, I would always leave early. I would find a way to be out of the office early, And that's just no way to live, man. That's no way for somebody like me to spend the days of their life doing that, the hours of the day spent looking forward to the end of the day. So I just opted out. I wasn't going to go about doing this anymore. It wasn't all bad working there. Like I had a period of time where I was actually really engaged in the work, and it was interesting. I enjoyed working with my coworkers, and then even on a corporate level within the company, things changed, and it was sort of forced into this new regime. It was purchased by another organization, and I guess they made a couple of cents extra a year by shutting down some offices and reorganizing everybody. So they went down that route and created this impersonal work environment where it's sort of this lateralization. And it was very impersonal. So I was out on the margins. Me and like 2 or 3 other people, tended to sort of working together. Mostly I worked by myself. And it was like soul crushing, intellectually numbing, some of the most unstimulating work that I've ever done. And the upside to working there for these last few years is that they were pretty cool. Me coming and going and leaving and going out on tour, being gone for a month. They didn't really ask too many questions. So that was good. I was able to manifest my goals in the band, go on tour, have a more or less flexible schedule about starting and stopping times during the week. But ultimately, you got to make a move for yourself, man, and that's exactly what I did. So, finally figured out a way to get paid to do my writing, which is great. Coffee companies, moving forward. That's great. And just doing the band. And I guess these are the things that I'm meant to do in this life. Frankly, out of everything in my life, relationships, employment, careers, the only 2 things that I've ever consistently done was play music and train. And, reducing my life to its essentials is really what I think I should have done many years ago. But I'm not going to beat myself up over this. I arrived at that conclusion. It might have taken me a little bit longer, but I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. So that leads me to another topic. A couple weeks ago, I posted something on Instagram that, it was like a Fight Club meme, about hitting bottom and all this other stuff. And some people sort of overreacted to that. Like I posted it just, I mean, I'll explain my motivation for doing it, but first I'll describe the reaction I got from a lot of people. And look, I am, I feel grateful that people care enough to be concerned about me. Sometimes this life, living in this city, living in New York City, is a very dehumanizing sort of solipsistic existence here sometimes where you're alone. Even though there's people all around you, you still feel alone. So I appreciate the concern that people out there had. So anyway, this meme went up about hitting bottom, and uh, anyone who's familiar with the movie, or specifically the movie, because the book I don't think goes too deeply into this, understands that there's like a quote where only after we've lost everything can we achieve everything. And when philosophically, I wasn't really trying to be negative. It really, when I read that statement, it's more about everything that's meaningless in your life sort of falling away and understanding what's truly important to you as a human. What makes you, get up in the morning? What makes you feel good about yourself? The things that you're passionate about, the things that drive you forward. Reducing your life to those essentials is to me, the term hitting bottom is like, okay, I bottomed out. I've lost, the meaninglessness of my life, and I'm down to the essentials. And that's something that I think should be embraced, because that's when you can actually do everything. You can do anything you want at that point. I mean, for me, it's like I'm sitting in my apartment. Yeah, I might have to move out, man, honestly. Like, I might have to scale my life down to keep moving the way I am, and that's a moving target that I'm trying to work on. But that might happen, man, and that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. Because the reality, I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. I want to keep making music. I want to keep training. I want to write. I want to lead a creative lifestyle. I want to spend a lot of time on physical improvement as well as intellectual improvement, and just live strong. I'm not the guy who shows up and sits at a desk all day. Even though I've done that work for many years, I've never been that guy. I remember one time even, and this was like when I actually enjoyed my job, when I really liked working there, and I had really good relationships with my coworkers. My immediate supervisors were friends. We are still actually sort of in touch, and they've always supported any of the ideas outside of the company that I had. They encouraged me to, do my own thing, even if that meant leaving the company, and they're motivators for me. But anyway, one of them, gentleman, call him Bob, he, he would come by and say hello. And then one day he was like, something, if you look around at everyone's desk here, you can see their personality reflected in the way that they have their desks set up. This guy over here is into golfing, so he's got a picture of himself on a golf course. This guy's got kids, he's got pictures of his kids. This guy's into he's got a boat, so there's a photograph of a boat, and so forth. He's like, when I go to your desk, there's nothing on your desk at all besides work. Like, I don't see anything about your personality. I don't see who you are reflected in the way that you have your workspace set up. So there you go. I was a square peg, man. I just never fit into that world. And it took me years to really embrace that. So anyway, man, this is all good. I'm looking for that baseline, and I feel that once I reach that baseline, that pretty much anything is possible after that. So yeah, I mean, it's sort of a cleansing. I've been selling stuff. I got rid of a lot of my comic books, which, I mean, I love comics, man. Don't get me wrong, but like, I literally have tens of thousands of comics that are just taking up space, man. And like, if that can help, help me with my goals, financially, at least keep me going, then so be it. Someone else can get the enjoyment that I got out of my collection. So I got rid of some stuff. I'm probably going to be selling some records for the same reason. I love music. I love records. Music's my life. I mean, you know, most of you out there know me because of music. So, but do I need 3 copies of "Chaos Is Me" by Orchid? Probably not. I could probably live the rest of my life with just 1 copy of the record. Do I need all the different color vinyl copies of "Calculating Infinity" by Dillinger Escape Plan? Probably not. You know. So, do I need to have Black Sabbath Paranoid in 5 different formats? The remaster, cassette, LP, CD, as part of the Black box set? I probably don't need all that stuff. So, once again, hitting bottom, reducing things to their essentials. That's kind of what my mission has been. So, it's been a great summer, Got a lot of good training in. Once again, the PCC, man, that's the spot. I spent years learning Muay Thai in the Thai style. So yeah, it's been kind of an adjustment where Gavin's system is more based on the Dutch system, which is like the footwork's a little different. So yeah, it's learning is always good, man. Even if it's something that you think you have got figured out completely, when you get another look, like a new look, it's a really great thing, man. And I love it. I embrace that. I welcome the challenges of learning new things. You know, I know this has turned into a physical culture collective advertisement, but I promise you that'll be not receiving any kind of compensation for saying the nice things, but it really is a great place to train. So yeah, I mean, life's happening. Band stuff's happening. We're going on tour in November with Wolfhammer. Most of the U.S., except for the Northeast, is being covered on that tour. As you all know by now, we just signed to Metal Blade Records, which is something that I'm very excited about. Going to be recording in January with Eric Rutan, who at this point is a friend. I mean, we've known each other for several years at this point, and really looking forward to getting on that. Like, that's, something once again, it's going to be very difficult because Rutan is a perfectionist, and primarily that's why I asked him to be part of the creative team here. Back on Savage Gold, no one ever worked us as hard as we worked on that record, and it was the taskmaster, Eric Rutan, who pushed us to those extremes, and I think that's why that record, to me, is like one of the favorite things I've ever done in my entire life. So we'll be going down to Florida for that. But right now, I would say that all of the songs are written. All the music and stuff is written. We're recording a demo. The basics are done. We're going to be doing some bass and guitar overdubs this weekend, and then it's the synths that Fade does and the vocals. And I am not that far along on writing lyrics, unfortunately. So it's going to be a moving target trying to get that stuff done. And if you guys, if you follow me on Instagram, that'll be Mike_Hill_primate. I'm going to be posting videos of some of the material being recorded, and some of the various songs in different stages, lyrics, things like that as we go through this whole process. And yeah, this is exciting for me, man. I enjoy this part of things. The when things are taking form in the way that they are. Like, a year ago you had this idea of making another record, and then over 12 months, 8 months, things slowly start to come into focus, and it's like very satisfying when you can see the finish line ahead, and you know that you just have to keep pushing. And yeah, I'm up for it, man. It's great. Really looking forward to it. Another cool thing, and I once again, man, I am fortunate to actually make part of my living writing these days, and it's given me a lot of opportunities to talk to people that I normally probably wouldn't really come into contact with. So, some of you out there probably read the Harley Flanagan interview that went up yesterday, which would be Tuesday, and yeah, that was a trip. I mean, the Cro-Mags are probably one of the most important hardcore bands in the genre, really. I mean, and I'm not saying I'm a fan of every one of their records. There's songs here and there on the post Age of Quarrel output that I enjoy, but the Age of Quarrel stands as a sort of milestone in hardcore music, really. And I mean, at the time it came out, they were like by far the heaviest band in that scene, without being a straight up like Slayer or Metallica or something like that. And I actually, the first time I heard the Cro-Mags was on Headbangers Ball, the We Gotta Know video, which this is dating me probably because I don't even think Headbangers Ball exists anymore. But I was like, deep into my metal. I love metal. I was always a metalhead before I was into hardcore punk. I was like into metal, Slayer, Metallica, also into, punk, hardcore stuff like Black Flag, obviously. And when I heard the Cro-Mags, I was like, this is, definitely something that if you're into metal, you can get into. And that's why I liked them so much at the time. And that's why I like, the later Rollins era Black Flag, because it was like metal. It was like a metal trip being expressed through like a punk rock sort of lens. You know what I mean? And that was like, very attractive to me at the time. So yeah, man, it was cool. I mean, if anyone's out there that follows or is aware of the ups and downs of Harley Flanagan's life, I mean, it was a pretty intense interview. And it's pretty proud of the work I did on the piece, and it's out there. It's on the Clairvoyant site. You can check it out. And so yeah, I mean, right now I'm gearing up to head out to meet my buddy Mike Scandato. We're going to see the Blair Witch Project, and if anyone's out there that likes horror movies, Mike and I do another podcast called Necromaniacs, and we're going to be talking about Blair Witch Project, and I have my doubts about the movie, but I feel like it's my duty to at least check this out. So that's about it, man. Thanks for listening. I like to keep these short because I tend to ramble on and on about things, and I'll spare you guys all that stuff. So yeah, man, if you're in any of the cities that we're playing in, please stop by and say hello. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can go to @MikeHillHQ. On Instagram, it's Mike_Hill_primate. And I like to post photos of, various shit, mostly martial arts and, metal, UFC stuff, stuff that's happening during the day. A lot of it's related to the coffee company as well. And yeah, that's about it, man. If you want to get at me, you can either hit us up on the Facebook page and, you can message me, or you can write me an email, and that email address is mike.hill@everythingwentblackmedia.com. So for now, Mike Hill signing out. I'll see you guys out there.
Turn Yeah!